There we go. PKN 395. What's up, boys?
How's it going?
How was your weekend?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. It was real nice. It got up to like the mid 80s here over the weekend, which was pretty good. It was almost like we skipped the comfortable part of spring and went to too hot. And then today it went back down to like 30, early 30. Like,
what is wrong with your state?
It's the Midwest. You get caught from everything. And like today I got home, I had to run out and do some stuff this morning. And I got back home and I'm like, God, it is fucking freezing in this house. And because I had turned the cool on the couple days we had the 80s, I'd forgotten about it. And so I checked, it was like 60 flat degrees in my house. And I'm sitting there shivering like a retard, but
it was just nice every day here, Taylor. Try that.
I wish.
It rained here. It rained here the last 2 or 3 days. I like the rain though. It keeps all those goddamn kids outside quiet. They can't get out there with the little motor scooters and they're hot rodding around and bouncing the balls.
Get off my lawn.
I did tell them to get off my lawn. They were using it as a ramp.
Wait, you have children using a ramp in front of your house?
Dude, they were. I was like,
yes, you will. I'll be sure of it.
And then, like, one of them for Christmas got this like pink electric car, like a little child size one. When I was a kid, they had the Jeeps, and they had like I think they took like a big battery, like the size of your head, but it was 1990, so still that thing went. The electric motor could barely go. It was just for putting around. This thing scoots. She's like 8, and she's signaling as she passes me, and like goes around. I'm so scared to drive out of my like little community here because this little 8-year-old has like a Barbie dream car convertible that does 30 or something. And it's quiet as fuck because I don't know if it's that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's
the
pretty
driver
wild.
is blown away in that picture. She said it's not even moving.
You can't see her passenger's hands.
No. So
child sex.
Is there not a cul-de-sac for them to inhabit near you? Like when I was a kid, it was kind of understood. Like even street hockey, like you had to have a much bigger cul-de-sac for that, or preferably the kind that didn't have anything like in the middle of it. But it was like understood. Like, yeah, when you fuck around, you have to go to the cul-de-sac. Otherwise, like that no-go lane.
For whatever reason, they seem to think that my place is the best place to be, and I think they all just live really close, and they're just scooting around down there. And I think there's some like, I wouldn't say rich parents, but like there's some parents that take care of their kids really well there, which I got no problem with. But that means that everybody's got like a scooter or a car or like a hot rodding around bike with the cards stuck in the spokes. Like they're loud out there.
Were you too old?
Those kids with the cards and the spokes, they're the troublemakers. They're rapscallions.
Deontay! That's my version of Dennis. There's no Dennis. There's Deontay the Menace here.
Dude, I want to tell you about my weekends. So I had big plans, right? Here's the deal. Jackie was watching the kids. Their parents went to Puerto Rico. So we had this weekend like lined up for a while. It's like, Woody, you should probably skip town. We're going to have these kids all day and night. Good idea. So I pack up my paramotor, some tandem gear, some acro gear. I pack up a motorcycle and 2 electronic skateboards. And I was going to like just go to the mountains and goof off. And my friends were like, dude, you should come over. So that's what I did. They're in Asheville, North Carolina, which is it's in the Appalachian Mountains, and there's lots of fun stuff there. Cool. The weather didn't work out. We didn't fly once, and my motorcycle broke on its first ride, which was really disappointing.
That sucks.
Yeah. Still, though, I had 2 skateboards, and my other friend brought 2, so we were able to supply a married couple with them. And we went to a couple different parks and we buzzed around, and her father owned an ice cream store. So she went there and she made me a free sundae. It's typically not Woody diet, but vacation calories, they don't even count. I'm pretty sure.
You had the hookup, the inside, the new flavors and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just fun to hang out with friends, and I had a blast, and we had perfect weather like every day. So that was totally cool. We probably didn't eat edibles every night.
Nice. Nice. Well, you slept well, that's for sure.
Can you do tricks on your skateboard? Like kickflip?
People
or
can,
anything?
but I just cruise around.
Okay. I have been on a skateboard once. I was maybe like 11, and my younger brother was like one of those like wearing Vans, like wanted to skateboard so bad. Like it was much. You know how weird that was? Like different grades, like you're only a couple years apart, but like they'd have different interests on like bigger levels. Where it'd be like we were more into hockey, they were more into skateboarding or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, this doesn't even look hard. He's not even doing tricks. And I like stepped on it on the really like slick kind of concrete that you have in your drive or your garage.
Uh-huh.
And I swear to God, like I thought I shattered my elbow when I stepped on it, and I immediately shot out like into the street. I slipped back all my weight on my elbow, and I'm like, no, it's just that this is gay. It's not that I can't do it.
I normally dress in like shorts and Vans when I ride, but this was a little more hardcore, and I had my moto gear on. I have motorcycle pants and a motorcycle like mesh jacket, and like it was nice to know that if I fell, I'd be fine. I ended up not falling, but it wouldn't be uncharacteristic for me to bite it at least once.
This reminded me of a cataclysmic crash I saw on campus at Mizzou once. It was a guy on a bike, and you know how people would zoom throughout campus on college campuses because you know during the day there's not a lot of cars, so they're whipping around the road and everything. And it was a very populated time of day at this circle where it's kind of at the interchange of where you can buy lunch and a couple other large buildings. And this guy is fucking flying like at a curb, but he was planning clearly to pop up the wheel, get that wheel above the curb, then you just keep going. You know,
right.
That's how you ride a bike. This guy popped it, I'll say 2 feet too early, and came down onto the corner of it and like flipped forward and just like boom, 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 just ate shit and had to like, this kid's probably like 18, 19 years old. And so he has to like get up and do the like, oh, I'm more annoyed than I am like grievously injured. It's like, there's college girls around you. You know, you don't want to look like a huge asshole. People are laughing. And then you have to walk your now destroyed front wheeled bike. Like your class. It was like, oh my God. I just left 5 minutes early. I walked. I'm not going to risk that.
When that happens, I try to keep in mind the delta between how I feel like people are feeling about me and how I would feel about someone else. If you crash on your bike, whatever. I don't assume this is a normal ride for you. I don't assume that you're constantly crashing on your bike, that you have no cycling talent. Something went wrong. It could happen to any of us. And I'm just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm not judging you harshly. But if it were me, it's like everybody thinks I'm stupid. Everyone hates me now. I fell on my bicycle. I'll never be able to go to I'm going to transfer schools.
Oh, in 12 years, someone's going to talk about this on their podcast. And it also like, I feel like it was worse being around college kids. Like you're all insecure as can be. You're like trying to read social cues from other people on how to appropriately respond to things. So you're in the in crowd. But like, if that were to happen in front of a bunch of like adults, some kid just eats shit. You're right. They'd be like, oh my God, like, are you all right? And the kid would probably get more embarrassed from that. Like, yeah, trying to get tougher. I'm going to join the army. I'm going to fight Russia.
You know what happened to me? So I rode a motorcycle to college, and it seemed like 2 or 3 times a week when I came back to that motorcycle, it was a cheap thing, that it was knocked over. And to this day, I don't know why. Were people targeting me? Was there someone who hated me so much that they vandalized my vehicle twice a week? Or is it just if you park a motorcycle in a college lot, some asshole will mess with it?
ZT, my friend who lives down here in Athens, which is a big college town, obviously, he's had his pushed over a couple times. And like he's even got the guy on camera because it's parked in an like a underground garage or maybe a multi-level garage system, whatever.
Okay.
And he works there, so he has access to the cameras. It's just like, and here's the douchebag. And the guy just comes up and kicks his bike down and walks away.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. And if people don't know motorcycles at all, some are almost meant to be knocked over. Like I have a supermoto. If you tip it, I would kick it over now just to show you what it's like. It's no big deal. Other motorcycles, you knock them over. And now the turn signals are broken. There's some plastics that are scratched. The gas tank could be dented. It was in that category. It wasn't meant to be knocked over every day.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. He's got he's the Suzuki that I was looking at. He's got that.
SV650, maybe something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Like a couple. He's
Yeah.
got the red and black one. So yeah, it fucks it up when you kick it over. The mirrors break off. The tank will dent. It's
Living
not.
stinks.
on a college
Yeah.
campus as an adult sounds horrific.
Well, it's not on
The
campus.
absolute
Like
worst thing. Like I know because I have friends, not like close friends, but I caught up with them, and like they live and they stayed in Columbia where Mizzou is, and it's a very large school, huge. You know, the whole city is Mizzou, and they are like talking. I remember like early 20s. Oh, it's still fun, man. We still go out, all that. Late 20s, like now we're 30. He's like, I got to get out of here. Like yesterday, it's rowdy all the time. Like the same way, like I remember when I was like 10, the prospect of like being invited to a sleepover or being allowed to have a sleepover, like with friends, play Pokemon, go in the fuck around the woods, whatever, was like, oh, I'm this is awesome. What am I going to do as an adult when you can't have sleepovers anymore? And then it was like ships passing in the night where like one day you're like, no, I don't want people over at my house. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, you're turning into a hermit. And I'm like, I'm already here.
Join me, baby. Join me.
Yeah.
When I slept in the dorms, when I lived in college dorms, it seemed like there was a fire alarm getting pulled 2 or 3 times a week. Like it was a real thing. I stopped going outside. They'd be in the hallways like, there's a $500 fine if you don't come out. And I'm like, you don't know I'm here. Fuck you. Like,
go room to room. You're going to kick the lock in? Fuck you.
No, guys, the sophomore who didn't want to move out into an apartment is running a really tight ship here. And they're gonna have a list that they're going to turn over to the PD. And it's like,
I never got caught. And I never left the room. At some point, you know it's not a big fire or even a fire. But
why are they pulling the fire alarm? Did like some nurse not want to have sex with him or something?
Probably just being shitheads, being obnoxious.
Dude, it could be anything. It could be like Taylor said, just absolutely shitheads pulling a fire alarm for no reason. Sometimes it was overcooked popcorn, shit like that.
Yeah, you know what? I would say a higher percentage. I would not say we had 2 or 3 times a week. That's like getting to the point of like you're going to lose your mind because of lack of sleep. But I would say it was more.
Not if you just stay in bed.
I do know a girl that did something with ramen, like not adding water or something like that when they microwaved it and starting a fire in there. So that could have done it. But even that, like, I think immediately she was like, "Oh, I'm an idiot," instead of like, "Well, let's let this pan out. Let's see if it cooks." Like,
yeah, I think someone lit a wastebasket on fire.
Maybe somehow. It melts. I don't know. It's ramen.
I don't know either.
Did you? So what's it? I think it was last week or the week before when I wanted to bet that gas prices would go above $5 a gallon average nationally, but then nobody could agree on like how you figure that out, even though like there's like a thing on the news. So we just gave it up. But we're almost there. We're almost there. It's like 470 or something.
Get out nationally. How sure are you? Because I just filled up for 417. Zach says it's 389 here.
I was going to finish and say that it's 470 a gallon here in Atlanta. But I saw that it's over $5 on the coasts. And I don't know what the national average currently is, but it's going to hit 5. It's going to go over 5.
I wouldn't bet against that now, although I may have bet against it, and I'll pay up if it comes to that. I don't remember how.
We didn't make a bet. Nobody wanted to bet.
But was it? There's always. I don't like it when they do that. When they find some random gas station in like Hollywood charging $6.70 a gallon, and they act like that's representative of what gas prices are now. No, asshole, get out of Hawaii and find some regular gas station and see what it truly is.
And it doesn't seem like there's any reason for those people to be exaggerating. Like it's going up enough as it is. Just like point out the amount it's going.
It's gone up tremendously, and it's only going to go up more. Biden cut off all Russian imports today. I suppose I was napping while the TV was on, but that's pretty sure that's what I heard.
I saw that he was going to. I don't know if it's happened. I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I'm not sure if that's the right move or not. Like when I heard that we were still buying oil from Russia, I'm like, why cut it off? When I heard we cut it off, I'm like, wait a minute,
And the UK has promised to try to phase it out by the end of the year. The UK in particular,
UK, Jesus Christ,
it's a big percentage of their.
It'll be forgotten, but
it's like either we turn out the lights or we figure things out. You guys pick, and they're like, we'll keep the lights. So they're working on it.
You love electricity.
It's been a really interesting week because a lot of the weapons that were promised last week arrived this week. And so like I'm seeing these big shipments arriving, and I'm noticing as I see the Ukrainian units, I'm like, oh, They gave him some good shit. They gave that guy the good thing. like there's like 3 guys with AKs, and this one guy's got like a fucking sniper rifle that's 8 feet long with a big. He's got a suppressor.
Some guy's got a metal detector. Like the fuck. I used to always feel bad for that guy in the toy soldier.
The metal detector. Yeah.
They just like throw that guy away.
Do our listeners even know what we're talking about with the metal detector man? Those little green army fucks.
I'm sure they do.
So I've seen they've got so many different kinds of anti-tank weapon systems because like every country in the world that's like not a douchebag or an African has decided to send like their old anti-tank shit. They're like the French, the Germans, everybody. So they've got like 3 different generations of the same anti-tank rifle. They're like laying there, and the commenters on Reddit are like, those are from 71. Those are from 63. Those were made for Saudi tanks. like all this nonsense. I saw a guy today who had a goddamn Panzerfaust. Let me see if I can find so you can see what a fucking Panzerfaust looks like.
While you do that, I was reading about I watched a YouTube video about Russian logistics. And apparently Russia has a really, really good railway system. So they can get a lot of stuff to the edge of the Ukraine. But from there it goes to trucks. And they do not have a good roadway system, so they haven't invested heavily in their trucks. That's not how you move shit around Russia. Anyway, this creates a big problem. And I'm watching on Reddit, they have like literally 35-year-old dump trucks filled with people and materials and shit like that, bringing stuff in from the edge of Russia into deeper Ukraine. Kyle, it looks like...
So you're absolutely right about the train thing. I've seen, apparently that's a big part of, while in the U.S. we had the interstate system. That was our big infrastructure thing. And everything is connected. In case those of you listening to this who don't know, one of the ugliest parts of America, and it's the part that you'll be exposed to unless you dig deep when you visit our fair country, is the interstate highway system. Because at every exit of it, they copy paste like 13 different businesses. Yeah. And so if you but that's how you get around the country. So you have to get off the interstate and then drive off onto some like state highways to get to any like, this is Georgia's best fried chicken. You know what I mean? To see any folksy shit. So that's our sort of defensive thing. The idea being like, we can, because you've got the 2 highways and then there's a median in between. That median is for fucking tanks. So we can get tanks from the Midwest where they're being produced down to Florida where the Cubans are coming from. You know what I mean? So the Russians did this massive train thing because the invasion's always been coming from Europe, or at least it has been since time immemorial. So they've got a fucking wild ass train system. But I saw like a CIA guy mocking that. He's like, they're bringing dump trucks on trains today, Anderson. I think we might see horses by the end of the week. It's really fun to see all of the good guys make fun of Russia's military, and because I think that's the last thing that Putin wants people to think of him, is to see his military, like to see the images of Russian soldiers riding into battle in a dump truck. And we are not making this up. A civilian dump truck like that you would see like rock in and gravel and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of Ruskies in the back of it with AKs being driven into battle right fucking now. And on the other end, there's a bunch of Ukrainians with American Javelin missile launchers just waiting.
Yeah.
It's wild this week.
I mentioned that because you brought up like, I don't know my anti-tank weapons at all, but you're like, this one's from 1962. I imagine it's just fine against a dump truck.
Yeah. Oh, dump trucks can't handle.
It'll fuck up a 2022 dump truck.
You can take a dump truck out with machine gun.
Take out an F650 out of it.
Yeah. You hit the grill on those things, they're going out. Just an AK. But the rockets they've got are wild. I put a link in there if you could see like the Panzerfaust. This thing, I didn't know these existed.
How old is that?
I have no idea. I didn't know these. Look, no, you haven't seen the warhead. Jesus. Fucking Sergei's ready to take out the whole goddamn country.
It seems a bit much.
What is their hit rate on something like that? I have no idea. Like, if he fires that, Kyle, let me rephrase the question. If he fires 10 of those, how many vehicles do you think are taken out?
I don't even know what the fuck that is. But so there's a bunch of different ways that they work, right? Some of them have those laser systems where you launch out the missile, and then there's a guy like continuously like keeping the laser and on the target, and the rocket wants to ride that laser beam. those are super duper effective. I just don't see him miss much with those if the operator knows what he's doing. The javelins, they're reporting 280 kills out of 300 units.
Is that what the javelin is?
And but you got to keep in mind, that's just dumb old Ukrainians who have never used one before, because there's Ukrainians. They have no reason. I get, unless they're
a lot of them were civilians 3 weeks ago.
Some of them were for sure, right? Like they're at 280 out of 300 was the reported number. The javelin, though, is the super smart thing that we looked up last week. That's literally the best thing in the world, from what I understand. And it's shoot and forget, so they fire and forget. So they just it's a smart weapon that's like looking in there. There it is. There it is. Mm-hmm. Yep. There it is. There it is. And it's just doing its own thing, attacking from the top.
Idiot proof.
I saw them.
Just like the one in COD.
The Russians are putting cages on top of their tanks to prevent against the javelins, but they don't work because someone explained the javelin has 2 warheads. So the first one will just blow through the cage, and the second one will blow through the top of the tank. And the top of the tank is where all the ammo is. So then
it sounds like what if they put 2 cages up there?
No one's thought of the 2-cage method, but I saw a Reddit commenter. He's like, the cage isn't to prevent strikes; it's to keep the crew in. Just fill the cage.
Don't need a second cage. They're tearing through the first.
I've seen so much Russian armor get taken out this week, and they keep sending in more. I saw that train. Did you see the train pass by? So Russians often have those cameras in their cars. So they have the railway crossing footage of tanks, trains loaded down with tanks and armored vehicles, and trains loaded down with just civilian trucks. It's clear that they went somewhere and just requisitioned civilian vehicles from gravel companies, anything that had 6 wheels or whatever, and a big engine. They just took it and they're shipping it to the front. Or into Ukraine at least.
That I assume isn't popular. There's probably people out of work now who are like, you know what, I'm not really for this anymore.
Now there's people out of work. I think the ruble's less. The ruble is worth less than a penny. It's 126 rubles per dollar now.
Dude, it's worth less than some in-game currencies.
Oh, way less.
You can use to buy skins.
Oh yeah. It's like if it were a crypto coin, you would not want to invest in it. You'd be like, ooh.
You'd be like, I'm going to keep my money in poo-poo coin. Thank you very much. I'll take the surefire thing.
No penny stocks for me. Yeah, it's wild what they've accomplished in such a short time. But the Russians seem pretty resolved. I think Putin's last offer is pretty good. If his starting point is we'll take the Crimea and you never join NATO, then it seems like he could be talked into something a little bit better than that, and everybody could just agree, right?
I thought they had Crimea, or they want it recognized.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're admit that we own Crimea, promise to never join NATO. Oh, and let us throw a president in there. and
he said Crimea that? Or in Ukraine?
And they want Zelensky to remain president or whatever he technically is. I don't know his title. Mm-hmm. But they want to install a minister of the foreign peoples. They just want to make him a figurehead, essentially, leave him there so that people will stick with the New Deal, but then have their own puppet there in power. So that's a no deal. But it's not miles away. It's not like he was what did remember the speech, the crows and gibbets speech when they show up at Saruman's tower, and he's like, Saruman is like, can't we take counsel together like we did in the old days? And he's like, when you've answered for the children who were hewn even as they fled against the gates of the Hornburg and the burning of the West Fields. And he's just like, when you hang from gibbets for the sport of your own crows, then we can have counsel. And Saruman's like, crows and gibbets. Noted. And that's kind of like where we are right now. We're at crows and gibbets. We're not at crows and gibbets yet. I feel like there's somewhere to talk.
Not there yet. I mean,
but Zelensky's just
hopefully they come to an agreement soon so they can stop the violence.
So I'm going to make this prediction.
Okay.
Zelensky is currently one of the most popular, most well-loved human beings on the planet, and he's a former actor. He's very slick. He's amazing. On camera, he knows how to pull those heartstrings. He shamed NATO this week after they gave him all that money. He was just like, "You this blood is on your hands. Every one of you that doesn't want to install my no-fly zone, the blood is on your hands. America,
That's kind of ridiculous.
I love
all of you who don't want to start World War III with Russia are cowards.
He's already in World War III, so I
on.
understand his standpoint. So
World War III is going to get a little more intense than this.
I watch some right-wing. I watch a lot of right-wing news, and I'm watching them tear down Zelensky. I wonder if that will take effect. Yeah, and it's like some bullshit stuff. Like Zelensky has money in banks that are also known to do business with oligarchs, and by that measure, Zelensky really is an oligarch. And I'm like, wait, well, you can do that to me. Like Woody has retirement accounts with J.P. Morgan through Cisco. Osama bin Laden also worked with J.P. Morgan. Do you seriously think that Woody's not connected to Osama bin Laden? They use the same bank.
The Nazis. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No, what I've seen from Zelensky is he is a master of social media and running this machine that needs to be ran right now. He is I think it was the UN where they had a vote like a week or two ago, and it went really well in his favor. But they said that like he won over 4 or 5 votes with the phone call before it. They said that when he called in, he literally swayed 4 or 5 countries that were on the fence, which is just massive. He's selling this thing well, and it needs to be sold because it's not a cheap thing that he's asking people to do for him. 1.5 million refugees so far, hundreds of millions from multiple countries. Billions have flown in already, and various kinds of aid.
I hear his leadership described repeatedly as Churchillian. I didn't even know Churchill was that good a leader. I hear him as drunk a lot. But apparently this guy is one of the best leaders that we've seen on the world stage in ages. He is. Are they setting him up for the fall? Because that always happens. They always prop him up.
All he's got to do is like not be a Nazi, and he can do whatever he wants. So like I think what they want to do, they want him out. They want him out so bad. We do, the United States. When I say I always mean the United States because we're kind of running.
The United States want Zelensky out.
This is our game. This is the United States game that's being played right now. Just like Vietnam, you could say was like Russia's little game that they were playing. This is great for us. And so I think that they want Zelensky out of there as soon as possible, and they want him to like run the guerrilla style insurgency from out of country. Over in Poland, over in like right across the border where he can actually like be like in contact with them, but in safety. They want that, but he's refusing to do that. So he's just in his goddamned office. Did you see the video he made?
Yes, I did. Get
out of your office.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not afraid. He's like, he's in his office and he like shows out the window and
Taylor, he's walking down the hallway.
No, I saw it.
There's an edit. Like he's on his phone and he's just like, and I'm on this camera now. Like it's just like, oh my God. He wanted to show himself walking down the hallway of the building. Because Putin has this green screen. Because
it's a good.
We all saw the green screen thing with Putin, right? When you know what I'm talking about when I say that.
I do not.
No, I don't think so.
Putin put out a video where he's sitting there with a bunch of college students or something. It's a bunch of hot ass Russian chicks who are dressed professionally, and he's explaining why we've got this war and everything. And there's those European mic stands that you see at the UN. It's like a long, bendy metal thing with a tiny little microphone with a windsock on the end, and a little red light on the edge of it. And so anyway, everybody's got one of those at the table, the long table he's sitting at. They're going to them, and everybody's sitting together. No more of that 30-foot stuff. And he's gesturing, right? he gestures a lot when he speaks, and he does this gesture where it's sort of like forward, and there's this up and down thing, but he goes through the girl next to him's microphone because she ain't really there, and neither's the fucking microphone, and he's not really in this goddamn room, and you just saw some fucking Russian fakery because he wants to appear like he's like casual at a group of people when really he's in a bunker somewhere. Who knows when he recorded this? Who knows where he even is? It's fucking fake. His hand goes through it like Ghostbusters. And so Zelensky is just like, I'm walking down the hallway of the building that has my name out front on Google Earth. Like sitting down for a little meeting with you guys, boys. Like it was pretty cool.
The contrast is striking. I saw
none of the missiles made it in yesterday. They're saying. I think that someone has giving them some more equipment of some kind because they've managed to take down every single cruise missile yesterday. They got shot at Kiev.
Did you hear that the boat that was taking out Snake Island and they told him to go fuck yourself.
All right, we don't know if it's that boat. There's no way to know if it's that boat.
I read it on Reddit. All right, I'm done with you questioning my sources. Okay.
Yeah. Reddit isn't wrong. Like, I don't know, the majority of the time.
Hey, they got the Boston Bombers.
Majority of the time.
Hey, they got the Boston Bombers. Freedom don't come free. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
comparison.
there is some claim that they took out the boat. Apparently, this is what Reddit says. It's Reddit, keep in mind. But they had a smaller, like, patrol boat, maybe, that worked as bait, and it lured in this Corvette. I don't know what a Corvette is. It's a type of ship, I guess. And they got the Corvette to go where they wanted it to go, and then they just bombarded it with artillery, and they sunk it. So they say.
I watched the ship burning and smoking.
Really?
On
the footage
video.
I saw was nighttime. Was yours also nighttime?
No, it was like
Could be different.
early morning dawn, maybe. Like the sky had that gray hazy thing, and the boats were at distance. They certainly weren't like near the horizon. They were like, they're not in swimming range. Let's just say that. It looked like 5 miles out or something like that, but you could see the boats clearly from that far. And it's burning the fuck up with the zoom lens. You get like one of them was like fucked, and there's one on either side of it. And I was just wondering, I was like, how the fuck did they hit a boat? Like, I know they don't have a navy. The Ukraine. I saw a YouTube video, and like the flagship of the Ukrainian Navy was scuttled, and it was just like, all right, first of all, Ukraine doesn't have a navy. Second of all, its flagship was this thing, this like 75-foot long, like
the canoe.
It was a metal, like military boat. You know, you'd recognize it.
It's
as
embarrassing
part of a
to
Navy.
call it a flagship.
You don't admit that that's your flagship.
Pretend you have like a huge one off the coast of Japan.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, if only our Navy were here. We've just got the little engine that could. You guys have to like pull it together. And the captain's like, actually, I already started sinking the boat, so the Russians can't get it. We're running, right? Yeah.
The Russians like come across the boat. They're like, we could take it, but it's kind of shit.
But apparently they lured the Russian boats into position with bait, and then the artillerists would have already lined up to hit that spot, and once they went to it, they took them out.
So
that's what I read.
So the U.S. Is using all of their recon stuff to the bemoaning Russians. They were using those. Somebody explain. I don't know everything about the U.S. military, but I guess we've got this thing called some sort of like a Skyhawk or something drone.
Sounds right.
It's a drone that's as big as like a real plane. It looks like it's like 60 feet wide or something like that. And they're like $250 million each, and we're just zipping those back and forth across the border. And the same with the F-35s.
Is that just to deliver munitions?
No, they're looking
surveillance.
It's to look into the hearts and souls of every Russian within like 100 kilometers. Is it
helpful for a like surveillance drone to be bigger?
Maybe it's faster. It has a longer range.
I think that one has more equipment. It goes so high they can't shoot it down, and it flies fast. I think it's really high. Although I didn't know this. You know, we have missiles that shoot down satellites from our boats.
I mean,
like not nuclear.
We can shoot down satellites.
We did it like 3 years ago. So here's the deal. We had this.
I didn't know we could do that.
So if you Google this, you might find the cover story that we used at the time. We've later admitted to like the truth, because I think they said, "Oh, we're decommissioning a satellite, an old one." And in reality, we had like lost control, I think, of an expensive like $18 billion spy satellite, and it was like it had hydrazine fuel in it. Do you know what that is?
I've never even heard that word before.
So it's this avionics fuel. It's used, I think, a lot in fighter planes.
You still saying fighter planes? Avionics. Yeah.
I think I mention it because a lot of people know it because it's so horrifically dangerous if it's inhaled. There's like 1,000-gallon tank of the shit on the satellite, I guess. And if it went down over a populated area, it could just kill lots and lots of people. I read a guy on Reddit on a completely different situation, because the helicopters use it as some sort of like emergency fuel tank or something. That's what it was called. But they were like, don't approach burning helicopters. It's instant cancer. They're like, what do you mean? Instant cancer. What do I can't simplify either of those words anymore for you, Michael Scott. You breathe, now you have cancer. It's in you. There is cancer in you now. You have the cancer. Bad. And, but then like I also read that like that's if you're lucky. Like if you actually get a good puff of it, then it just kills you right there, like melts you or something. So they shot a missile from a boat and shot this and blew it up in goddamn outer space. for to prove that they could, and also because it was a big ball of poison that was going to land somewhere over Europe.
Shucks.
That must be some really good propellant.
Yeah,
because it has some downsides, huh?
See,
Yeah,
that's the cool thing about the
not a huge
military.
downside.
That's what I like. That when you think about things that are when you buy things at the store like Home Depot, somebody might say, "Oh, that's industrial grade glue." That's what the guys who do this for a living use, and you're like, "Oh, okay." But military grade is this other area, right? It's not always necessarily better. It might be worse because you can make 1 million of them for like a cheaper. It's
Military
not always
grade
better,
breakfast.
but it's always the most practical. It seems like. So like it's just like, yeah, our emergency fuel, it causes cancer. Well, hitting the ground causes explosions. So like, you take a little cancer over explosion sometimes. You ever gone down over North Vietnam, kid? Like you take cancer in a heartbeat.
How old are you?
God, I wish I
this mission. Why is there an 81-year-old man leading our platoon?
Why is there an 81-year-old man in the White House? Don't ask those questions, son. I'm part of the old prospector unit. They're putting an old prospector in every military unit.
Dude, Zelensky
Have
is
you seen
making
this
me
bit? You don't know the bit I'm talking about.
No, but
No.
okay.
There's a bit from with Will Ferrell where like it's during the Afghanistan or Iraq conflicts and special military operations where the bit was that they were installing an old prospector like from the 1800s in every military unit, so everybody's like dressed like modern military, and then Gus Chiggins comes on in and he's got like the pan, he's like panning for gold, he's got the pick over his axe, and they're about to go on a night raid, and they're just like, sir, I just don't understand how an old prospector is going to help us. He's jingle jangling everywhere, sir. He's like, oh, peaches, don't you worry about old chickens.
He's got like 3 tin cups tied to his
really
belt,
does.
and making a hell of a noise.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wait, yeah, what were you saying about Zelensky?
Oh, just that I envied having a young, coherent leader,
Oh,
a guy with charisma. Like, it's been a while.
Here, I'm going to make you just really like him.
How old is he?
He's in his 40s, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely on the younger half of the world league. Yeah, 44. Way in the younger half of the world
Oh, I
league.
saw this. Yeah, he was lifting weights with his dog in the gym. He's got a functional trainer,
Oh,
some dumbbells.
He looks a little like Woody.
I see it.
Dude,
Dude, check out that one
Yeah,
calf
you got a
by the
couple
black
of-
dog.
a couple of cute balls. Got some
Woody,
nice
Woody,
dumbbells. He's not
if-
skimping.
if a black helicopter landed in your yard and President Joe Biden, the President Kamala Harris got out and she came in and she like sat down and said, Mr. Woodworth, we need you. Your country needs you. Frankly, the world needs you. You are going to be Vladimir Zelensky. He was killed this morning at 400 hours. We can't allow the enemy to know this.
You know I don't speak Russian or Ukrainian, right?
Sir, you do now.
Listen, people of Ukraine.
You do.
We
You
must
do-
fight against the Russians. And they're like, Operation Woodworth is a calamitous mistake. Pull back, pull back.
You speak Russian? I could do a Russian accent.
There's no time for this. Get him over there. The world hangs in the balance. In reality, they're just like, yeah, his body looks enough like Zelensky. We could say Zelensky died. Throw this YouTuber's body in the mix.
I just love to see like Woody walking around like looking real awkward, just like like pointing for people to go places, just like nodding, and they're like, President Zelensky today gathered troops around the Eastern Front.
And then like they would be the media would be
Woody.
pumping you up so much. They'd be like, such a strong leader. He doesn't need to articulate his words at all, and it all is understood. And you're just mumbling like
you got one of those like conductor like sticks, and you do things like that. That's how you rule your country. And they're like, incredible.
He's the first case of lockjaw. For real lockjaw.
President Zelensky poisoned by the Russians earlier this week with
I think if they tried to invade America, that America would step up like Ukraine does.
If
Taylor
Russia
already
tried
said
to?
he would run.
Anyone did. Taylor said that, but I don't think he's in the majority.
No, I said that if I was trying to get out of a dangerous war zone and some soldier held me at gunpoint and like forced me to fight, I would run if possible. Yeah, I'm not doing that. What's that soldier gonna do? Send that idiot up into the danger zone. Like, of course, that's what would happen. Like, I'm not doing that shit. But
what
you
you
can
got-
obviously wage a guerrilla warfare in the U.S. Like, that's how the Iraqis and the Afghanis did so well for so long. It wasn't like grabbing people at the border, common people like in Lord of the Rings and going, go fight the Uruk-hai, be brave. It was an insurgency where it would be people popping off roofs, taking pot shots, and just generally disrupting. Like, that's a world of difference.
Well, what they're doing is they're, if you want to fight, and by the way, I'm literally mean, like, if you listen to this want to fight in the war for Ukraine, there's a website you can go to. You click your country at the bottom, and they'll show you how to get there and what to do. If you're from Russia and you click it, it'll tell you to go fuck yourself. By the way, and they will put you in the Ukrainian army, and they will gear you up as a Ukrainian army man, and they'll put you in a fucking unit somewhere, and they'll send you wherever they want to send you, and you can come from it's like 30 countries or something. If you want to go scav in,
let me jump in. Yeah, because I think what you said was true. I think now there's literally a waiting list to get into the Ukrainian army.
Fuck yeah.
Like, good gosh. Like, that's a lot of patriotism when there's a waiting list to get into the army of a country being invaded.
Did you see that like group of guys? It's so ripe for a fucking comedy movie. They were like, here's a unit with members from Spain, Brazil, the United States, the UK, Italy, Syria. It's like, how many of them speak a common language here?
None of them. But we've got a crew from Netflix following them around. On wacky. And next up, we've got the Joint Israeli-Palestinian Brigade. What goofy hijinks will they get into next?
It's really crazy. Here's my prediction now. I don't think they're going to be able to take Kiev. I don't think they can take Kiev. I really don't. I think I don't think they can go in there. I don't think they can get in there. I think if they go in there, it'd be awful. I think this thing is going to last as long as the Ukrainians fight. As long as, and you might be like, no shit, but it's like, well, no, they could all throw down their guns tomorrow, or they could, I think that this could last months and months and years if they wanted to, because the West is going to, if they can keep supply lines open, if they can keep those Western villages that are between them and the border, and keep supply lines open so that they can't be starved out, this will last forever. They'll just keep going.
Information advantage that the Ukrainians are enjoying is interesting to me. Like, you can go to Twitter and they'll give you reasonable battle like, this is how you operate a tank. This is a gas tank, like a refueling gas tank. It's a high value target for these reasons, and it's super easy to take out. You take out this gas resupply thing, you're effectively taking out a tank, but it's much easier. Ooh, they've heard us say this. Now they're disguising the fuel trucks. This is what fuel trucks look like now. Take them out. And it's just everywhere and all over the place. They have like I guess the Russians are using like unsecured radio channels, like just frequencies.
Their new thing that was supposed to be the encrypted radio thing that they were bragging about. Like, if you watch Future Weapons, how does everyone talk? Russia has the best. It doesn't work. And they're having to use this like CBs.
So everyone's listening to the CBs, and the Russians are using like disinformation on that. Anon quickly caught on to where the disinformation is. They're like, these channels are the fake ones. These channels are the real ones. They're like broadcasting things over there, like pig noises or like images that look like pigs. If you look at the radio frequencies over like a spectrometer, I'm getting out of my depth now.
Yeah, you know how like you'll have like a like one of those radar images that you see like a plane like peeing on. Instead of that, it's like a back and forth scribble of a troll face. And it's I don't know how you do that.
They're fucking with the Russian communication. They're sharing their secrets. Like, any old Ukrainian can find out what Russian movements are like. I know. I see them on Reddit. I know where I bet I could find on Google Maps where that convoy is stuck. Whereas the opposite's not true, Kyle.
The U.S. intelligence is, they have those satellites and planes, so they're able to look at like the back of somebody's head and see what they're, what they're reading. They told the Ukrainians where they were like, I think it's 56 helicopters were parked, and the Ukrainians destroyed them all.
Wow.
They were sitting on the ground.
Yeah, helicopters on the ground are easy to break.
Yeah, that's the worst place to have them.
Every day I see like one of those maps, one of those like displays, and it's like how many Russian like killed in action, and then like tanks, armored vehicles, APCs, blah blah blah, and it breaks it down on this big board. and it gets bigger every day, like by a significant margin. If they get those planes, it's going to be nuts because they're still flying. Like there are Ukrainian fighter jets in the air. The
Ghost of Kiev is still up there doing shit. I'm assuming.
Like
I mean, he
our
only
job
had
isn't
enough
to expose
to
Ukrainian
last one
propaganda.
day,
It's to
but
propagate
it lasted a
Ukrainian
week.
propaganda.
Okay, that's why we celebrate.
Sorry, Kyle, I didn't hear what you said.
I said our job is not to discourage Ukrainian propaganda and expose it. It's to propagate it. It's to send it forth. Like, yeah, I saw the ghost of Ukraine. I saw him too.
Yeah.
Ghost of is it Kiev? There's 2 ghosts. Okay,
there's a ghost legion.
There might be a dozen.
Ghosts. Yeah,
that's the way it's going to end. It'll be like the end of Lord of the Rings, where all the pirates jump off the ship. And
I was trying to talk to my friends this weekend about like what do Ukrainian farmers do with tanks, and they wouldn't listen to my thought. They're like, you can keep them. It's tax free. I'm like, right. No. What do you do with the tank? Can a tank be repurposed to plow? Like, what do you do with a tank?
I bet it could. It seems powerful enough for sure. And
is it a really inefficient
keep away
way?
wolves?
Well, like the thing
is, you could kill deer with a tank. Think outside the box.
Deforesting.
Like, there's gonna if it was a scenario where like the Ukrainians win, or like if the war ends and the Ukrainians still have those Russian tanks, there's gonna be some kind of a program where they're buying them back. But like other than that, like there's no way to repurpose it, because like I bet you could turn a tank into a plow. I've seen tanks with plows on them, but it wouldn't be as good as a tractor with a plow. And they already have one of those.
You know what's really good? You know what's really good at plowing? The tractor used to steal it.
Yeah.
You just know there's some Ukrainian farmer that's so stoked on getting a tank, and he's getting so excited for like his first plow through with the tank, and he's like, "This sucks. This is so much worse than my tractor.
It smushes the ground before I plow it.
I'm getting feet to the gallon here. Like, this is all my crops in my wake."
That's unrealistic. I'm sure they use the metric system.
I saw like I've seen so many tanks getting stolen, either towed out with tractors or pulled along. I guess dry rot is a huge issue for the Russian military. All the tires on their trucks are Chinese tires, and I guess with those military tires, what they do is they rotate the vehicle like frequently, like exercise it, so that the sun's not on the same side of the vehicle for months at a time, so they don't dry rot on one side. And so like all of their trucks are dead in the tires. All their trucks dry rotted, and they're dead in the water. They're stuck in the mud over there.
Doesn't seem like any of their stuff is working well.
No, it doesn't. It's been really fun to watch.
It turns out that if your country has the economy of Texas and the military of America, there's a mismatch.
Yeah. It's they probably didn't spend all that money where they were supposed to as well, because it seems like I just feel like somebody was supposed to take like 15 trillion rubles and like buy new tires.
Bought lunch.
Day.
Yeah.
Or how much would lunch cost in rubles right now? Well, that's easy. It's just 125 times what your lunch costs per dollar.
That's incalculable.
Yeah, I'm not even going to begin to do it. I don't know how this ends, but it's been incredibly entertaining to see like the war go on, just to see like all the Russians dying. I've been enjoying that a lot.
I mean, hopefully it ends quickly, but that might be wishful thinking.
No, I saw that like the Russian Paralympic athletes were talking shit to the Ukrainian ones, like, we're gonna bomb your families back home. And it's like, bro, you've already hopping. Like, were you really looking for a beef? like you got one leg, asshole. You really want to start some shit? Like,
wait, who was there a video of this? There's a the
Paralympics are happening right now, or they just happened. I don't know if they're still going. I don't watch that crippled shit.
I don't
either. But they're like,
I've never seen it.
I don't watch that or the WNBA. No, thank you. I feel
no
bad.
Fun sports.
But they were picking on the Ukrainian athletes, I guess. And then I saw the one Russian gymnast had like a Z on his chest at the medal ceremony, and they were like, we're gonna ban him for so fucking long. By the time he's able to, he'll have to do he'll still
that leg will have grown back.
The wheelchair
but we can't kick him out. He's the only long jumper with no legs. Swinging on those arms.
But who does that?
The Z's. So this is interesting too. I felt like when the war first started, the Western media propaganda all said that the Russians hated it. And you saw the protests. It wasn't Moscow, it was somewhere else, maybe St. Petersburg. But it was protests, and it was like all these Russians don't like it. They're doing a run on the banks, etc. Now it seems like there's a fair amount of Russian patriotism, and they don't believe, well, better yet, they do believe the Russian state media. They know the truth that they had to do this. They're pro-Russia on the war. They're not like, they're not all against the war like they make us think.
I think it's they had a hard time making me think that they were all against the war. They had a hard time making me believe that any of them were against the war for a long time. Now I'm seeing thousands of people in the streets, whereas I was seeing like a dozen people in the streets, and now I'm seeing people getting the shit beaten out of them with sticks in Russia, and little old ladies getting arrested and women and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like that means that things are actually happening. But when you see 1,000 people in the street, you can tell it's not some made up nonsense. And then it's multiple streets, multiple squares, and they're chanting and stuff. But whereas before I was like, I don't know about this. But then when you see the polling data means nothing, right? Because they keep track of how you voted. You can't. It's not a poll; it's a vote. It's like, yeah. But it's a. I don't know. They do polls, and they're like, all right, Comrade Taylor, do you think Premier Putin is doing a satisfactory job? And I'm
giving 2 thumbs up on that one.
Fucking 8 stars.
You still want to have a job tomorrow, bud? Yeah, 10 stars. Give him 20, 100, whatever the top
10
is. Give
rainbows, 100 lucky loos. Throw some horseshoes in there. Whatever you need. Yeah. and even on those like polls, it was like 60% in favor, and it's like, damn, 40%. That means that 50% is actually in favor, and they were like, say it's 40 that don't like it. Like they can't be the truth. If the numbers they're releasing are that 60% were in favor, that's pretty strong.
Yeah. There's no and obviously they're going to release the numbers that reflect what they want perceived the most.
Have you seen the Ukrainian hotline so you can call and find out if your son's alive or dead?
I have. Yeah, Russians are calling it too. Like there's apparently
and they're uploading the calls.
Yeah, and people are calling to find out if their Russian children are still alive. And I guess it's good propaganda. It looks good on the Ukrainian side. It seems kind.
Oh, it doesn't seem kind at all.
No, it doesn't seem kind. There's a
hotline. They call them. They're like, hello, terribly sorry to bother you. I was hoping you would know where my son is. His name is Pavlov the liar, and he went into Ukraine on the 4th. He's in the 5th division. Oh yes. Pavlov burned. Burn. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that. I'm so sorry. Pavlov is burning. He's on fire right now.
Is it true?
This was from yesterday.
No, of course not.
No, they're not doing that. But it's this thing where it's like,
I misinterpreted. I must have saw something different.
They didn't make this line because they were worried about the feelings of Russian mothers. This is propaganda.
Yeah, it's propaganda for Western media.
Yeah. Well, for everybody. It's to scare Russians too.
I saw propaganda and believed it, I think, because I saw a very different report. It was like they're doing this thing, that they're being nice to the Russians, and the call I saw wasn't it like you described.
It was nice. No,
I actually didn't have any data on the person they were asking about, the one I saw.
Yeah, they didn't have any of it. That's the thing. They're not going to have data on anybody.
Of course not.
So everybody that calls gets the same answer. Oh, I'm so sorry. We have no idea what happened to your son. Maybe contact your government. Bye. and they're just like, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's a great scheme, and it's not even dishonest. It's just that when you call, like I guarantee they've never once been like, oh yeah, he's fine. Not even a scratch. You want to talk to him? But Dimitri, come in here. Yeah, what's up? Mom. Oh, hang on. Let me finish the sandwich. Like that.
Get that Red Robin out of your mouth and answer the phone.
Man, that logo's the truth, right? Red Robin. No, that's not happening. It's to tell the truth, really. But the truth, because the truth is horrific enough. You don't really have to tell a lie, right? Your son was sent here thinking it was a training exercise, and some fucking Ukrainians who were fighting for their freedom and think of you as a stormtrooper machine gunned him down in a muddy ditch. Like, that's what happened to your son. He's dead.
Dude, It's rough. And at this point, I'm done with Russians thinking they're on a training exercise. Fuck you, you lying sack of shit. That you maybe believed that 2 weeks ago. Are you still uninformed? Did you
hear
still
him say
think
they
it
weren't
was?
gonna, Did you hear him say they weren't going to take artillery crews prisoner anymore?
No, but I like the idea. Yeah. Like, if you're an artillery crew, we're particularly mad at you.
Yeah, they're like, and we're no longer taking artillery crews captive. We're done with that.
Saying they're gonna
I like
capture
it.
them and just kill
They're
them.
like, you bomb women and children and babies asleep in the night. We're coming for you.
Ukrainians are not scared of Russia, and that's amazing. Oh, did you see the I forget what town it was, like Obelinsk or something, but they were playing "Don't Worry, Be Happy" in like the town
Beautiful,
square.
right? Great.
Dude, beautiful. Eerie. It had this Titanic
Like a
band
five-piece
on the
band.
deck of the ship, keeping
Juxtaposition.
everybody like
Yeah.
calm as
Did
as
you see all the
band
French
was
chicks?
coming.
Naked with the in France protesting. They're at,
I did. I don't know. I don't speak French.
yeah.
I'm
They're saying,
in favor. Whatever
Putin
they
is
were,
bad.
whatever they were saying, I'm game.
I'm game. It was like 40 pretty hot French chicks. Weren't I didn't see any fatties, and they had their the Ukrainian flag painted.
No, they're
on
trying to
their
get
chest.
support.
Yeah, no. Do you think they sent away a few big ones?
I guarantee
showed
they
up.
did.
Was there like
Mhm.
one big girl who was like, "You put me front and center. You put me front and center." And they're like, first of all, ma'am, your 5 o'clock shadow is just terrible.
They have. There's just a giant Ukrainian flag painted on her belly, and she just kind of wiggles to simulate the wind in the back behind the normal sized people. Yeah.
Yeah, that had to have happened because they ended up with like 40 hot chicks, topless. Their fists up in the air, and I was just like, I don't think this helps at all, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Y'all all could have sent $1 or a franc or whatever. I guess it's euro now, and it would have been better. But I'll take your titties instead. Whatever you got, we accept titties.
Anything
Euros,
for the
dollars.
war effort.
The only thing they don't accept is rubles.
Here's a
Man,
question.
I wish I had some rubles. Like honestly, if I could buy rubles right now, and I bet there's some like Russian citizen who's like, God, I wish somebody would buy $100 worth of rubles off me. I would totally buy $100 worth of rubles, but I want them in once. I want them in once. I want to, because that's a briefcase full of money, right? $100 worth of rubles at this point.
So
Maybe.
you're in Ukraine, right? You're a guy, you're 23 years old, you're about to fight for the war. Is it easy to get laid now? Are all the girls fucking like there's no tomorrow?
So here's the problem, Woody. Most of the women left. So
Well, all right, she'll have to work hard. I get it.
you know what's been interesting? It's with the
10 to 1.
transgender individuals who, the men have to stay and fight. A lot of the women are staying and fighting, but if you're a man 18 to 50 or maybe 18 to 60, you stay and fight. And so now you've got issues where you have trans men and trans women who are in a bit of a pickle because the border guards are saying, yeah, you are. and no, you're not.
This is Ukraine. We don't play that.
Basically, that's what they're being told. They're saying, this is Ukraine. We don't play that. And so like there are some women who have just. What I want to see is I want to find out if you are a trans man, meaning that were born with lady bits, but you're now going around as a fella. Are they going to be like, all right, sir, I don't know if you know, but 18 to 60, fighting for the homeland. So head right over there and sign up for your military unit. I can just imagine like, actually, about that. I think you change your mind quick, right? You'd be like, hello, me. Yeah, Butch, right over there.
Oh, my stars and garters.
Don't worry, we accept all types here. Every man's allowed. And then the next character is
a 6'7" Viking-looking guy in a dress traipsing out of there. Ma'am.
It's fucking dude, it's MASH. It's MASH all over again. It's fucking. You watch
Right,
MASH?
Klinger.
You know this
I've never
reference?
seen MASH.
So in MASH is for the Korean War conflict,
Mhm.
special military operation, and there was a character who obviously wanted to get the fuck out of Korea, so he just dressed as a woman every day, and they're just like, dude, you're here. Fuck you. They just didn't care, so he was just always in like a terrible dress, like he's not trying at all.
There was something called a Section 8 that he was always going for. And if you're a crazy person, then you file for a Section 8 and they let you go home. So he would dress as a woman every day trying to get this Section 8. But he was in this catch-22 because clearly anyone who wants to go home isn't crazy. Therefore, he's acting very sane by dressing as a woman, and he never got to go home.
I saw
happy either way.
So like TikTok videos have been getting more and more vicious since TikTok was invented 3 minutes ago. And I saw one where this fucking Russian checkpoint, right? They pull all the civilians out. Or it's some kind of checkpoint, and they're being real scary. Like everybody's got their hands on the car and everything. And then he yells at the lady. He's like, "Turn around!" And she turns around, and it's her fiance on his knee. Like, "Will you marry me?"
Oh, I saw that one.
She's just like, I'd have been like, "Fuck no! This is a fucking war zone, you asshole! Aren't you guys supposed to be fighting Russians right now? How did you get your whole unit to throw in on this?
Baby,
Why'd you kill my dog?
Lifetime like this.
He shot Nana.
Yeah.
He's just giving me lip
to make it believable.
he broke Nana's nose halfway through the thing to get their attention.
It was pretty neat, though. I actually like that. I saw the video too.
It was
and it just made them look like it's easy to forget that these soldiers are people. And anytime they play music or do something sort of real, I like it. The best one was the speech the guy gave about the Russians coming. Like, there's going to be a sniper in every door. There's going to be that you can go home. You can just choose not to fight. You can't beat us. You don't know where you are. We've messed up with the street signs. We've rearranged the signs. Good luck with your outdated paper maps.
They have paper maps, by the way.
Yeah, they have paper maps, which you'd think would be nice and reliable, but it's really a problem when you have to
Soviet era paper. Have you seen them? There's
I bet Ukraine's made roads since then.
Their maps look like props from a World War II movie. It's like that leather little pouch that you open up. You like
what Captain Winters was using to
yes. Yeah. or remember it looks like when they got fucking the sword out for Aragorn, and it's in that leather shit.
Yeah.
He's being unwrapped and then it's like old Soviet paper, and on the top it's like this map was given to first commissar of the 8th Division of the Red Army, Pavlov, nonsense of fuck.
1978. Yeah.
You had a GPS, you could ignore the street names and follow the streets to where you're trying to go. If you have paper maps, you've got to be like, all right, let's see, I'm on the corner of this and that. Where's the corner of this and that on
you're
map?
Looking for, you're still finding north. That means you have a compass. You have a compass there. If your first mode of navigation involves a compass in the 21st century, things have gone awry.
They're using the sun to guide them to Kiev.
He's doing that thing where he's counting the hours with his hand against the horizon. If I see my commander doing this, looking at the sun, I'm running so fast.
I'm quitting. I'm trying to find someone with opposing colors on.
All right. I'm gonna go watch some more war footage. I know Woody's hungry.
Right. I'm gonna go eat as well.
Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Go fight and they be tagging those Russian things up with RSK thing. I see it.
I want to see more PKNs than Z's out there.
RSK.
My bad. Why would I say PKN? It's RSK. Kyle.
Russia, stop killing.
Yeah, no. Please advertise our lesser known podcast. It's only unlisted. That's what I'm looking for. All right, PKN 395.